Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joel Duggan and we are starting off the week in Satisfactory. We finished off the week in Satisfactory and I had messed up. I miscalculated the amount of water and the amount of concrete that I needed to replace a temporary system. And I was trying to cut some corners and it ended up biting me in the butt. So we're going to have to revamp that. We don't have to belt everything, but we definitely have to expand, I think, the concrete production and just kind of make more than we need. Which is something I should have done from the get-go. So we'll take a look at our resources and see where we can pull more limestone from and get that going. So that's the plan for today. It shouldn't take too long. I would imagine that once I assess where things are, it'll just be a matter of finding the right resources. We do have everything mapped out, so it should be pretty straightforward, as long as those resources are not being allocated to something else already. SweetSandi, Moira, good to see you. Blue saying it's the first time watching someone play Satisfactory. I don't know anything about the game, so this will be interesting, or I'll be very lost. It'll be both, I hope. If you get lost, just ask questions. I've been playing this game for 1,500 hours over the years, so I've got a pretty good handle on it. I still mess up just like everybody else, but if you have any questions about how things are working and all that kind of stuff, then by all means, let me know. Yeah, the game should be on sale because they are having there's a developer sale, I think, on Steam or something. So I think Satisfactory is a little bit cheaper right now than it normally is. So if Steam or Epic Games is where you hang your gaming hats, then check out a sale in Satisfactory. There are some other new developments. We've got a new episode of the Citadel Cafe that's been out for a couple weeks. And that's where Steven and I talked about the Fantastic Four and K-pop Demon Hunters. So that's out now. You can also check out the brand new episode of the Spawn Chunks that came out yesterday. That's where Johnny and I talked about the bug fixes that are coming to the Copper Golems. We're kind of counting down the release of the Copper Age. We don't have a date yet, but it should be coming soon. That might even be announced today. So if anybody in my chat sees Minecraft news today, let me know. I'm cool with checking out not logging into the snapshot, but we'll at least go to the website and see what's up. You can also find the video version of the render distance is now available to patrons on the Spawn Chunks Patreon page. So if you support the show, you get an extra half an hour of content almost every week. And now that is a half an hour of video. It used to be just a half an hour of audio, but now it's both. So you can listen to the render distance on your phone, or you can watch the render distance on your phone via Patreon. And that's a Patreon exclusive. You can't get that anywhere else. There is a video version of the main podcast available on YouTube, but it does not include anything from the render distance. So those are the perks. And the main discussion yesterday was talking about, like, when you're finished a major project in Minecraft, what do you do next? Like, how do you move on? What's your kind of strategy? And so I talked about that. Johnny talked about that. And it was a pretty good conversation, I think. It was fun. So we're going to load into the game. I'll go with the autosave. I was probably just taking screenshots. So the issue was I needed more water than we can pump in one pipe. The pipes in Satisfactory are a real bottleneck because we now have belts that can carry 1,200 units per minute. Pipes can only do 600 units of water per minute, and it's a real pain. So we will need to probably bring a second pipe in. And if we're going to bring in a second pipe, we might as well fill it, and we might as well have more concrete being made. So I'm probably just going to expand the concrete facility deeper, which we have the room to do. So we got lucky there, is that we have the room to expand it. And I don't know that we're making a ton of concrete on site. I feel like we're kind of making it as we need it. So we'll have to go back and see. I don't even know where we are making concrete anywhere else. It might be in the south. It's hard to remember. So I'll show you the problem before I show you the solution. Do we have a door down here? We don't. So here is the wet concrete. It's currently putting out the wet concrete here, or the final product of concrete. And that is going on to supply concrete for the encased industrial beams and also concrete for the heavy modular frames. And we're currently not making enough. And the problem with that is that those two products go on to be other things, and we can't have a bottleneck there because it bottlenecks a bunch of other stuff. So we need to increase the concrete capabilities. We currently have one belt of limestone coming in over here. So there's the limestone coming in. And then we have the water coming in over here. You can see it right there. So I need to figure out where additional concrete is going to come from. Or sorry, limestone is going to come from. I know I can get more water. Like, more water is easy. It might be a little bit time intensive, but we can simply bring in another pipe here. It looks like we may have to run it, and that's fine. I'll probably put it right there. So that'll take a little bit of time. But this one here in the middle and the bottom just runs straight through. And we take it from there. So the other one would come in right there, and we would just adjust a couple of these and move them around. So it's doable. We've got the room. It's just a matter of putting in the time. And the issue is going to be the resources for the limestone. So the way that this was working, if I can find a space to pop out to a map. Let's get up somewhere high. So there is a limestone mine, like right there, and there's another one underneath that train station. They are both combining into that limestone belt, which you can see it's underneath the coal. It's down there somewhere. So it's coming in down there. So what we need to do is fill that belt with as much as we can. So we're going to put in like a giant 1200 belt, I think. And the way that that is currently working, if we look into our map here, why does this feel small all of a sudden? Right. So there's one. It's a normal node overclocked to 180. And this is a pure node overclocked to 600. I want to find another pure node to overclock. That's Caterium. We've got, this is going to the South Refinery. Limestone at 300 per minute. It's normal. Limestone 300 per minute. South Refinery, main bus 11. Untapped. Untapped. So we could bring in both of those. I could have sworn we had main bus 11, 300. Main bus 11, 300. I wonder what I'm using 300 limestone, 600 limestone for on the main bus 11. That seems strange. There's also a normal node there that's untapped. And there's also a limestone that's being used for aluminum refinement. But then we've got aluminum refinement there, a normal node untapped, a normal node untapped. So we've got some options. I would prefer to bring it in on the main bus. That would be a little bit easier because that would be less farting around with new belts and things. So there's a pure limestone untapped. So that's a possibility there as well. Some of this limestone here, we could make like a concrete facility. So I feel like the solution is probably going to be these ones because I know I have the infrastructure for this already. So let's go see what's going on there. One of the things that I did, these are all numbered in my label. So 16, 17. And so if I bring up my spreadsheet, It's not going to let me do that right away. I really wish that this would just remember. So if we go to the Devastator Rocky Desert, which is the biome we're in, and we look for limestone, 1617 is untapped. And then we've got normal here. 1819 is also untapped. Those are probably right next to each other. So we've got the two normal nodes. We might be able to combine those. But I don't know where those currently go. All right, let's find out. Jumbo Sale, how's it going? My frame rate today is really rough. I'm not sure what's going on. So there's the limestone. Where are you going? Underneath here for something. Main bus 11. It looks like you're being tapped for something. Nope. You're being added to. That's a merger. So these two bits of limestone. Are they just going into nothing? Oh. That looks like a smart splitter. What are you going to? That's one belt. Where's the other one? Oh, this is going to aluminum refinement. I've switched some resources around, I think. I don't think aluminum is not being supplied by what I think it's being supplied by. I think this concrete node back here might not be being used at all. It's going somewhere. We've got this bug where the lifts are animating in the wrong direction, and it's really confusing. That looks like it's also going to aluminum. Yeah. Well, that's kind of a pain. We're making concrete somewhere. That's the output from the aluminum. I think that's just being sunk. Because that's a byproduct, and we don't want to use a byproduct for construction. We want to use that as storage and or garbage. Yeah, we're pulling some of that concrete, but not all of it. So I do have main bus, smart splitter. That's the line that we just put up yesterday, but it's not pulling everything. So the other two lines are there, and I guess it just ends? Oh, these both get combined onto the same line. That's the new line we made the other day. And then these both get combined onto the one line, and that's supplying, it looks like it's supplying aluminum. Is that the right main bus number? So that's an incorrect. I need aluminum. Nine and 13. $19. 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I really did not keep my notes up to speed, did I? So right now we've got limestone 2, and that's giving us 600. This is giving us, I could crank that up to 300. You know what? I wonder if I can create, if I can do Mark III miners now. Yeah, that's not an impossibility. Default extraction rate is 240 per minute. So if I cheat and just look it up on the wiki. Limestone. So on a pure limestone node. Well, that's the full. I don't want the full rate. I want pure nodes 480. Miner Mark III. Does increase energy consumption, but that's fine. Why doesn't it just give you a simple explanation as to how much it pulls out? 480 is pure, so it's just 480 times 250%. 1200. And that's the max on the belt. So the easiest thing to do to increase our concrete limestone to 1200 would be to go over to this pure node, which is already hooked up to all the machines that we need, and just turn that into a Mark III miner and then change the belt. And then we can take this offline and not worry about it and just skip it. Or even a normal node is 240. That would give us another 600. With a Mark II. Oh, that's not a pure node. That's a normal node. It's 120. 300. Yeah. Okay. It's really choppy today. Oh, this is sending me very far away. How do I change E? Here we go. So right now these are underclocked because of the number of resources we have available. But if I just copy one of these, we want to do wet concrete. So it's 120 limestone per minute. So we would need 10 machines. And then it's 100 water per minute. So we would need less than 10 machines. So we need 1,000 water, which is not quite 2 pipes. Yeah, it boosts the limestone. So it fills the belt. We wouldn't have to do the whole belt, but we might as well, right? So I could just have the entire belt come in and go to limestone, go to concrete. And that would produce 800 concrete per minute, and we need 5 something. And then we can just take the rest somewhere else. So 10 machines is easy because that's 4. We can just add another bay and a half, and we should be good. I think that's pretty straightforward. And then we would just bring in the 2 pipes of water, and I would just bring in the full pipes. It's overkill, but it'll at least get done. So that way it'll take care of that, and then we can just send the overflow somewhere else, and then we'll have extra concrete if we need it. So the only thing I need to double check now is just the numbers on heavy modular frames. Because this is the end of the production for this particular product line is heavy modular frames. Man, I am so sorry that things are so choppy right now. It was not like this earlier. .813 per minute at 8 machines per. I don't know why. Well, it's at full capacity. That's just the way that the recipe works out. Because we're using overflow for storage. 2.813 per minute. $22.5. $22.5. And concrete needed for that is 20.625. $165. 165. 165. So that's what's needed there. And the concrete for encased industrial beams. So encased industrial beams, 9.375. Is 75, and that is the right number on the spreadsheet. And in order to get 75 encased industrial beams, now we have to backtrack downstairs. $75 encased industrial beams, and we are currently making 4 beams per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're making 80. So 80 are going up, and then the overflow is going somewhere else. And then there's a storage container. This is a slightly convoluted situation. We might want to change the way that this looks. But if we're making 80, and this needs 20 times 20, which is 400. But what's happening is that we're not getting, these machines are not getting enough concrete. See? So it's only at 66%. So that's the problem we're trying to solve. Something I overlooked a long time ago and just did not catch it. So now that we have that, we know that 75 is correct, 400 is correct. So 565 is what's needed. And we're going to be making 800, right? That's what the refinery said. Yep, 120 limestone, which means we'll need 10 machines to consume it. And then we have 800 coming up. Devastator north under rain. Yep, okay. We're going to change this to 10 machines. Nothing is going to be underclocked, which is going to be great. This is 120. This is 100. And this is 1,000. $80. $800. So the water is going to have to change. This is going to be 2 Mark II pipes. I don't know what we can do with the extra water, but it might be just good to have it filled up. And this is actually not where this is coming from. This is coming from the Scourge water facility. I think they're called water extractors. And they just do 120 water per minute. So we'd need 10 of them. Which would be overkill. We could actually do with less. Cool. That's the plan. That didn't take too long. So I needed a portable miner. I'm trying to think if I have anything in the background running that's going to cause things to be choppy here, but there's certain things I need to have running while I'm streaming, and I don't think there's anything else I can close. I guess I don't need Satisfactory modular opener right now. We're kind of doing this old school. It's not as complicated. I never trust something like Steam running in the background either. I just find programs like that are often resource heavy. Portable miner. Where do I keep you? Maybe over here. And I'm going to need to make, I need trigons and time crystals. I know I'm making trigons and time crystals, but like Where am I storing them? Is the real question. There they go. I think they're all being used. I think this is all my Trigon production. I would say yes. It does not look like there is a storage depot hooked up. So we should do that briefly, just to kind of get one of those going. My upload is only 60 per minute. That's fine. That's that. We do have a bin of time crystals. So that's doable. So now we just have to go all the way back to the original miner and update that. Oh, I took the wrong portal. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. When things get choppy like that, I get skittish. Let's just save the game. I wish I knew a little bit more about how to make Satisfactory run efficiently. So the first thing we need to do is disconnect this this machine down here. That is no longer adding stuff to the limestone. So this is the limestone thing that we have to update over here. And these are old school designs too. I would really like to revamp this. We can just do this in place. So I can do overlapping objects. Oh, weird. Maybe I have to remove that. Guess I'll just delete the whole thing. Oh, this is back. Okay. When 1.0 came out, it must have created an issue. Sorry, Blue, if I'm missing questions, I'm very sorry. So because in the past you built the machines that use limestone, you didn't calculate if you had enough limestone, so it's become a problem for future Joel, which is now. So what happened was I was using, there's a process in the game where you make aluminum and it creates water as a byproduct, and water just fills up. You can't destroy water easily. So what I did was I turned the water into concrete and I put that into my production line. But the issue with using a byproduct in your production line is that if something backs up or slows down, then it's just this cascading calamity of errors. So if you're using something as a byproduct like wet concrete, it's better to just destroy it. That way it's always flowing, it's always getting destroyed, and you never have to worry about that particular branch of thing filling up. And so by eliminating that, I then miscalculated the water that I needed. So you're halfway there. Instead of the limestone that I needed, I miscalculated the water, and I thought, oh, that's fine. I'll just dial back this machine to use the exact amount of water in one pipe. Well, it turns out I miscalculated how much water I needed, and what I really needed was like 650 water instead of 600. And I thought, well, if I'm running a whole pipe, rather than just making exactly 565 concrete, I'm just going to make 800 concrete and then just have extra. So we're just kind of killing the problem with a little bit of overkill. I'm also debating as to whether I could do something different with this. I guess the easiest thing is going to be to leave it where it is, because we could change the orientation of this if I wanted to. Probably look nicer. It's really close to the middle. I should get this going before I do anything so that things don't completely slow down. I don't know whether to make it, because eventually the belt is going to look like this. So maybe like a black and white. I haven't really done much for designing the belts. I guess I could make the belt green. Or the reverse. I guess I'll just leave it green for now. Try to make this look at least a little bit cooler.
Do you find working in the dark more efficient, or did you simply forget that light exists?
Thank you for the reminder, Sandy. Appreciate that. We should probably take a break. We're getting real close to the first hour anyway, and working in the dark in Satisfactory is not always the best. That sort of looks cool. Alright, let's just put down the power. Probably just do it over here. And then I'll just put this, I'll leave that like that for now. We'll go take a break. Probably the easiest thing to do is just head to the break train. Cool. Glad to clarify, Blue Crow. I mean, it's a fun game when you don't mess up like this and you have to redo things. Oh, that's not how we go up. I forgot that I had like a neon helmet on. It's too bad that our train track blocks the view of the Decepticon symbol when we're in the hypertube. Mr. Yellow, how's it going? You are unfortunately just in time for our first break. And I do want to stick to these today, so just give me a few minutes and I will be right back. You get to ride the train, get a little bit of a tour of the world,